Hi, my name is Lara. Welcome to my channel, Inner Goddess Guidance. I am a personal coach and I was a teacher for many years. I am a divine feminine on the twin flame path, and I created this channel really to assist the divine feminine collective. It can be for women in general, and I imagine also that divine feminines who are men would find it perhaps useful. The only reason why I've focused on women in particular is because I use goddess energy cards or the goddess oracle to pull an energy for the day. And so I really think that most of the people who will probably find this channel useful are going to be women. So I created the channel because when I took a look at what my skills were and what I saw was needed in the collective, I realized that we needed some maybe practical strategies for how to navigate the journey. And I also saw that it could be easy for myself to get sort of lost in information. And I thought that there needed to be a real strategic process for how to get in touch with your inner guidance system so that you know where you're going and you can track your progress and you can really target your healing. And so that's why I've created this channel. If you are here and you have questions or comments, you have issues that come up, please, please, please either reach out to me through email. There's a link in the description box, or you can just leave a comment. You can ask a question. You can make a suggestion for a future topic, or you want some expansion on something we've already done, or you want to add in anything that you have from your own toolbox or your own experience that you think would benefit the collective. I think that this is an amazing community, and we all support each other and create this wonderful network, really, of support. And so I invite you to join by making comments, by contacting me, and just participating. So I want to welcome all my new viewers because overnight the channel sort of exploded, at least in from what I was used to for the last 2 weeks when I started the channel. And I want to that end, to say thank you so much to Angela from Mystic Moon. She was so gracious and kind to speak about my channel and what I'm trying to do here and the benefits that she saw in it. And so when she did that, she included my link on one of her videos, and she always does amazing tarot readings for us. And lo and behold, I got a lot of new subscribers. So I love that. If you have not yet watched the first video, the beginnings, it's a little rough because I was just learning about all of this, but it does sort of explain why I put things together the way I did. I also suggest that you watch the journal one because this is designed to work with you through a journaling process. There are all different kinds of ways that you can journal, and so that's why I did a specific video just on journaling. Journaling is really just an excellent tool for getting in touch with ourselves and delving deeply. And then again, check that video out because it will explain why it's a useful tool. So I really want to focus today on gratitude. And the reason why is because I just feel an abundance of gratitude today. And it is one of the components of the journal that I suggest. So the journal, pretty much the idea is you set it up, you keep track of the goddess energy of the day and anything from the message that stands out to you. We do a healing card. You might want to keep track of what that is and the message that you heard in that. And then I guide you in making an affirmation because I think affirmations are particularly powerful. I do suggest that you do them in the morning. You don't have to. You could watch it the night before and set your affirmation for the next day, for example. And then at the end of the day, you come back to your journal really to reflect on your day and how the issues that might have come up for you, ascension symptoms, all kinds of stuff like that, synchronicities and signs, and that the very last thing you do at the end of the day is to reflect on at least one thing that you have genuine gratitude for. There's all kinds of reasons that gratitude is important and useful. One of the most important things, and why I put it at the end of the day, is because it's really good for your brain. And on a brain-based level, when we think negative thoughts, we're increasing the neural pathways that really create more of a tendency to think that thought again. So the first time you think a thought, it's new, and the more you repeat that thought, the more it becomes familiar. And pretty soon then it becomes ingrained into your subconscious. You don't have to consciously think it, you just know it and you're just acting on it. So when we want to get rid of negative thoughts, one of the things that we can do is increase our positive thoughts. The last thing that a lot of people do at the end of the day when they're going to sleep is think about all the things that went wrong that day. Or we fall asleep missing our beloved. We fall asleep thinking about how we failed during the day, what we didn't do. And that's going to increase the negative thought patterns that you have, and it's just not good for your brain. So conversely, if you go to sleep with a thought of gratitude, you're going to increase those neural pathways, the positive ones, and your positive thinking will increase. Okay? So I consulted happierhuman.com and found just this amazing article that I want to share with you, not the whole thing verbatim, but the gist of it. And I want to make sure I'll put the link for you, or the information for you, in the description box, happierhuman.com. And the reason why I like this particular article is that the person who wrote it, who just goes by Happier Human, I could find no clarity whether it was male or female, doesn't matter, really went through 40 different research studies on gratitude and then put it all together into this article. And when you consult the article, there are even links that you can click on to open up the research itself, to look at graphs and charts and things like that. And I highly recommend it because it's very well put together. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about the basic end results of that. And so this Happier Human put together 31 benefits of gratitude, and I'm going to kind of go through them really very quickly. And then another article on the Happier Human website was really well done that I highly recommend too, and it's How Grateful Are You? It's an interactive quiz, so you can take that interactive quiz and see where you're starting right now with your gratitude and try to increase it. And then 7 strategies that Happier Human gives for cultivating gratitude. The first one being the gratitude journal, and I will get into that in a minute. Okay, so 31 benefits of gratitude you didn't know about, and some of you probably do, because you may have a gratitude practice already, but maybe there's some way that you can, maybe some ideas for how you can add to that. So gratitude makes us happier. It's that simple. They have actually done studies that show that just 5 minutes a day with a gratitude journal, or a gratitude in the journal we're doing, can increase your long-term well-being by more than 10%, which happens to be the exact same amount as is increased if you double your income. So think about that. Doubling your income, you get 10% happier, or 5 minutes a day in your gratitude journal, you get 10% happier. I sort of wonder what would happen if you increased your income by doubled your income and did gratitude. Could you be 20% happier? That would be cool to find out. So it does say that, it's a practice that improves over time. And I think part of the reason why that is true is just brain-based. the more you practice it, the more you'll become accustomed to it. And like I said, it then integrates into your subconscious. So you're just living in a mode of being gratitude, having gratitude all the time. So it takes about 6 months to see the results. But for 5 minutes a day, that's not so bad. Okay, gratitude makes people like us. It increases social capital and makes people nicer, more trusting, more social, more appreciative. We have more friends. We deepen our existing relationships and improve marriages or romantic relationships. Gratitude actually makes us healthier. It is even believed that it can extend your lifespan by a few months or even years. Gratitude boosts your career in multiple ways, and I'll go into some of those in a minute. But basically, you can imagine that if you are having more gratitude while you're working, you are going to be happier on the job. Okay. Gratitude strengthens our emotions. It makes people more resilient. And I happen to really, really love the concept of resilience and building resilience, and I will talk more about that in a different video. But gratitude can reduce feelings of envy, make our memories happier. It lets us experience good feelings and bounce back from stress, which we could all use, right? Gratitude develops our personality in a lot of ways. And so it's broken down here into personality. You're more optimistic, less materialistic, more spiritual, less self-centered, and have more self-esteem. And self-esteem in a good way. Okay, so gratitude makes us more optimistic. It reduces materialism, increases spiritualism. You know, all major religions espouse gratitude as a virtue. And there's a wonderful man that I want to let you know about, a Benedictine monk named Brother David Steindl-Rast. He has a website called gratefulness.org and a YouTube video that I like to start my day with. I don't do it all the time, but I do it often. And it's about 5 minutes long or 4 minutes long, and it's called A Good Day. So I highly recommend checking that out. It's just beautifully done, and it talks about things to be grateful for, and it has nice pictures that go along with it. It's beautiful. Okay, so gratitude makes us less self-centered. Happier Human says, Happier Human says, I'm a lot better now that I've brought gratitude in my life, but I still spend way too much time thinking about myself and too little thinking about others. I expect this to change because of my compassion and gratitude practices. I am starting to have spontaneous urges to help others. I like that, spontaneous urges. I mean, the thing is that when we help others, we feel good. And, you know, I can tell you that that's absolutely true from doing this channel and really from being a teacher for years. It was when I was in those moments of really giving and being of service, you know, it feels good to know that you have something of value that other people recognize and need and appreciate. And yeah, so gratitude increases self-esteem. Well, you can imagine if you're being able to offer something and it's being received and it's helpful to other people, you're feeling like you're of service, your self-esteem increases, right? In health, it improves your sleep. It says here it keeps you away from the doctor, and I highlighted this section that said, in fact, some recent science shows just that those who engage in gratitude practices have been shown to feel less pain, go to the doctor less often, have lower blood pressure, and be less likely to develop a mental disorder. So that's worth 5 minutes a day, I'd say. Gratitude lets you live longer. And again, it goes back to It says gratitude is strongly correlated with positive emotion. So gratitude means positive emotion, means a few extra months or years on earth. Gratitude increases your energy levels. I think it's because when we raise our vibration, our energy goes up. When I'm feeling depressed, I want to go to bed. So people who are grateful are much more likely to report that they do exercises and that they feel physical and mental vigor. So there's data in that in the article that you can refer to, which means, of course, you are more likely to exercise. You're more likely to get out of the house. You're more likely to walk. You're more likely to dance. You're more likely to do anything that requires movement. You know, that the Nike commercial, at least when I was younger, it said just do it, and it would talk about that a force in motion tends to stay in motion, right? A force at rest tends to stay. A body at rest tends to stay at rest. That's it. And I think that when we increase our gratitude, we increase our positive emotions, we raise our vibration, we're more likely to move. And conversely, if I'm feeling bad and I'm depressed, I'm more likely to crawl in bed, at least me. Oh, and stay in the house and not want to go out and, right, isolate. Gratitude makes us feel good. It just makes us feel good. Gratitude makes our memories happier. So our memories are actually the stories we tell ourselves. They're not accurate. They are a perception of the past. They're the story that we retell. And as you increase your gratitude, your perception of what happened changes. You can actually, even in some negative situations, find the positive part of it. And that is a part of having what we call a growth mindset. And again, it makes your memories happier, so that when you're looking back, you're reframing the situation to actually lessen the negative impacts, lessen the victim aspects of it, and to see more of the positive aspects of it. Gratitude reduces feelings of envy. You know, I think that this journey can trigger envy, because many of us have, many of the beloved partners are, how are we calling them? Our counterparts, our divine partners, have other partners in their lives. And that can trigger us. It can trigger us to look at that person, compare ourselves against that person, to wonder or feel a lack of what we have ourselves, and to basically be envious of other people, or even on the journey when you are in the chat room and somebody is, you know, experiencing something good, and wow, we wish we could be them. But the truth is that if you're in a state of gratitude, then you're focused on what you have and not what you lack. And because you're focused on what you have and not what you lack, you reduce the urge, or the reduce the urge to be envious, right? To look at what other people have, because you know what you have. Gratitude helps us relax. It helps us fall asleep. So that's why it's good to do right before you go into bed. Gratitude makes you friendlier. People just like you more. You're more likely to see good things in them and be outgoing and pro-social. It actually helps any of your intimate relationships, your relationships within family. Particularly if you're married, it can help. Because when you're focused on what you're grateful for in your marriage or your partnership, then you are reducing seeing the negative. It's sort of like, you know, everything is a combination of forces. And so if you think about the yin yang symbol, for example, if or the cup half empty, half full. If you're focused on the half empty instead of the half full, you're going to feel lack. If you start to focus on the half full, you're going to feel abundance. And so we're all sort of in a state of, constant state of being both, we both simultaneously have and we lack. But the key is to focus on what we have, because that's where raising the vibration comes from. That's where, and that's where gratitude is. So gratitude will help you focus on what you have, not what you lack. Gratitude makes you look good. Well, you know, I think that as we feel better, we look better. I know that the expressions on my face change. And there's nothing as attractive as somebody who's feeling good and smiling. So just if on that level, right? And then, of course, we notice people more, and we're more likely to give them a compliment or to express our gratitude toward them, and they're more likely to reciprocate that. Gratitude helps you make friends. People want to be around people who are happy and kind and grateful and gracious, not around people who are complaining and victims and angry, and it just makes sense. Those are the people I want to be friends with anyway, the people who are happy, the people who see the best in life. And you know, even when you're in a coffee shop or shopping, or you come across people in the service industry, there was a time when I was quite depressed where I didn't want to even talk to people. But now I have easy conversations with people in line, with the checkout people, and it always makes me feel like I'm spreading love. And that's what this journey is about, right? We are healing ourselves so that we can raise the vibration of everybody around us on the planet. You become an agent for that. So gratitude is one really great practice that you can do daily. Doesn't take much time. It's going to help you to do that. It also deepens friendships. There's a practice that Happy Human has come up with where you focus on one person and you really start thinking about all that they add to your life and bring to your life and how grateful you are for them. And so when you can really appreciate your friends and what they're doing for you, and then express that to them. It's really helpful. We all like to hear that we're appreciated. In your career, it can make you a more effective manager. The more that you can show gratitude to your workers, for example, the more you're going to get from them, because they recognize that you're really seeing what they're doing and you're honoring it. Gratitude helps you network. So increasing your network because you are recognizing how grateful you are for the people and what they do for you. Just like beautiful Angela and what she did for me today. That was a perfect example. And we are a network. We are this beautiful web of people that are coming in to help and support each other on this journey. And the more we network with each other, the greater we all become. It's just beautiful. Gratitude increases your goal achievement. So if you think about the journey as being trying to achieve a goal, the goal of union, then the more you can stay in gratitude, the more likely that is to happen. Okay? Gratitude improves your decision making. I think instead of being reactionary, you can have responses. And again, so that you are aware of what's happening and what you want and how to be grateful, and so it increases your decision making. It increases your productivity. The better you feel, the more effort you put in, the better quality your work is because you're not distracted by other things, and the more successful you're going to be. So those were the 31 ways. I tried to go through them hopefully rather quickly. The practices all start with the journal, and there are many different things. If you look up online, you will see many different options for doing gratitude practices in journals. And you don't have to just do one gratitude a day. Just as I say, you could do 10. You could do more. You could do 5 minutes of gratitude meditation a day. So anyway, using the journal is the first one, and it's been really documented. So the resources that Happy Human gives here are, or Happier Human, sorry. There's iPad and iPhone apps, gratitude app called Happy Tapper, and you can actually get a gratitude log, a free online and social gratitude journal. It's called Gratitude Log. And there are gratitude journals that you can buy specifically if you want to have a separate journal dedicated just to that. Then Happier Human suggests saying grace. And I thought this was interesting because there's a quote in here that I wanted to share with you, because sometimes we think, well, grace is just what we say before we eat. But I love this quote from G.K. Chesterton. You say grace before meals. All right, but I say grace before the concert and the opera, and grace before the play and pantomime, and grace before I open a book, and grace before sketching, painting, swimming, fencing, boxing, walking, playing, dancing, and grace before I dip the pen in the ink. And I thought that was beautiful. Grace is something that we take time to just turn inward and say thank you. And we can do that anytime doing anything. It doesn't have to be at a meal. And then he suggests something called, or he or she, Happier Human, suggests something called negative grace, which I'm not going to go into, mostly because what this suggests is basically you look at all the things you're happy that you don't have in your life. So I'm happy that I'm not in the hospital. I'm happy that I'm not dying. I'm happy that I'm not, right? It's like, look at how things could be worse. I sort of wonder if that's an effective practice. So if you want to check that out, you can do that. So one example that Happier Human gives is before I shower, I say grace for not having to bathe in an ice cold tundra. Before I sleep, I sometimes say grace for not having to sleep on the floor. So there is also, of course, prayer. And prayer is a powerful technique that you can use many different ways, at night, in the morning, during the day, anytime. I feel like I'm constantly in a state of prayer. And then she gives some resources for that as well. And then it mentions remember the bad. And this is the one, remembering something bad, that I thought actually was a good tip and for increasing your gratitude. And it basically goes like this. When bad things have happened to us and we look back at them, we can remember them with regret, but we can also remember them with our newfound understanding of what we gained from that situation. So I think that happens a lot on this journey. I look back at things that I never would have chosen to experience. But in retrospect, I see how that stretched me or pulled me or opened me or allowed me to grow in ways that I never would have done otherwise. And so even though it was a painful experience, when I go back, I can have gratitude for it. I do think that's useful, to see what I call the pearl in the pain. And I'll talk more about the analogy of pearls. I love pearls. So, you know, seeing what a bad situation or what something bad happened, and then what is the learning or the lesson or the benefit, the gift that was inside of that, or a part of it. And then there are gratitude visualizations that you can do. This says you can do time commitment from 5 to 30 minutes. Happier Human sets aside 20 minutes every Sunday to really focus on one person, and go through all the ways that that person, that he or she is grateful for that person. And finally, another one that I really love, it's a mindfulness practice, and it's sensory appreciation. And there's this beautiful exercise that you can do with a raisin, but you could do it with anything really. And basically it's slow way down when you're in a situation like taking a bite of your food. Slow down to really taste it, really feel it, really experience it. It brings you calm and peace, and it also increases your awareness and your appreciation, and therefore, of course, your gratitude. So it's summertime here in the United States. I love berries. And I noticed that, I'll buy some raspberries and my son will scarf the whole thing in one seating. And I'm thinking, geez, did you appreciate the taste of those raspberries or did you just wolf them down? He's 17, so wolfing happens. But if you really take time to actually put the berry in your mouth and feel the texture and taste all the different levels of taste that you experience there, really slow down enough to appreciate the sensations that we get to experience all the time. Sometimes we're so up here in our prefrontal cortex, we're so in our head that we don't even notice our body. We just don't even notice it. So it's a way to get back in touch with where you're at. So those are the tips that I wanted to share with you today about gratitude. I'm just grateful that I got to be here and give that little, I'm just grateful for being here with you. So thank you. Okay, so I'm going to call in Spirit with an invocation and then we'll do our cards. Dear Spirit of the universe, of love and light, please be with us in this time and place as we focus our collective intention on giving wisdom and guidance for our journey toward healing and self-mastery. We ask for open hearts and minds to receive the messages that will serve our highest and best good in the service of love in all forms. With deep gratitude, thank you. So I cleared the cards earlier. Yesterday when I was doing this, or the day before, I forget, I kept pulling cards. I mean, I was shuffling and shuffling, but the same cards were coming out. So I wanted to make sure they were all shuffled up good. So, dear Spirit, please give us one goddess energy that's working with us today, can guide us on our journey today, has some sort of lesson or message we can benefit from, the collective. Which goddess energy? Oh, whoa, that's way too much. Okay, that one did pop out. Ooh, nice one. But I don't know how to say it. Euroname, ecstasy. I have to do this in order to see where that's. Okay, ecstasy. She looks like she's in joy, in bliss. Ecstasy. Okay. I love that word, ecstasy. Here it is. When I awakened and arose out of swirling, seething chaos, seeing no other way to express the sheer delight, the wild exhilaration, the explosion of energy I felt, I began to dance my exuberance. That feeling of floating on a sea of rapturous joy, lost and transported in the intensity of ecstasy. Euroname, that's it, Euroname, or wide wandering, is a Pelagesian, Gian, Pelasgian. Great goddess of all things. She divided the sky from the sea, and while dancing on the waves created the north wind. The north wind grew lustful, and so she seized him in her hands and formed a serpent she called Ophiron. Euroname made love with Ophiron, and then assumed the form of a dove to lay the universal egg out of which all creation came. Ophion, not content with being creation of Euroname, then co-creating with her, boasted that he was the supreme creator. Euroname knocked out his teeth and banished him. I'm sorry. She was pretty pissed. Euroname dances in your life to tell you it's time for ecstasy. Ecstasy is here for you in all its fullness, exuberance, and rapture. How can you give yourself ecstasy, that deeply nourishing, intensely joyful place? One way is by healing the wounded parts of yourself. Your wounded parts take up emotional space within you. Once healed, the space they previously occupied becomes available for ecstasy. The more space within, the more room for ecstasy. Another road to ecstasy is to open to it, to give yourself permission to call it in, feel it, and revel in it. For those of us who have experienced little joy in our lives, the conscious decision to court, seduce, and entice ecstasy ensures it will come. Euroname says that when you make the decision to dance with ecstasy, all life challenges you. I'm sorry, let me try that one more time. Euroname says that when you make the decision to dance with ecstasy, all life challenges you with the opportunities to facilitate that dance. All life challenges you with opportunities to facilitate that dance. Dancing with Euroname. One of the beautiful things about this book is it gives ritual suggestions, which I don't go into, but if you bought your own copy, this is The Goddess Oracle by Amy Sophia Marashinsky and illustrated by Hrana Junto. I love learning about all the different goddess energies. Ecstasy. The more gratitude we have, the more ecstasy we can experience. If we're in a low vibrational state of depression, hiding in bed, as I have in the past, there's sure no ecstasy in that moment. Not that ecstasy can't be had in bed, because we all know it can. Okay, now a healing card for the day. Your spirit of love and light, please give us one healing card for our journey today. Just one healing card, please. Oh, there it is. Okay, this says, oh, I love it. It says, God gives you only the present, moment by moment. You know, one of the things that I love about the word present, like the present time, is that it also means present like a gift. It's the gift that we have right now, right here. And the beautiful Brother David Steindl-Rast, A Good Day, talks about that this day is a gift. So the back of this says, how much of your precious day do you invest in the past? Everything from your past except wisdom and love has long since served its purpose. Witness what calls you from yesterday and why. So how much are you able to stay in the present, the gift of this moment, and bring gratitude for this day? And how much are you focused on the past and replaying things and feeling regret or some of those, you know, missing somebody even. I mean, we could do that for a moment, but if we stay in that place, it's just bringing us down. Instead, try being grateful for the fact that you got to taste this great love. Try being grateful that you got to experience something that you consider to be divine love. How many people get to have that? It's pretty beautiful. I always think that when we met our twin flame, whatever happened, I always think that the beauty about twin flames is that I think when we look into each other's eyes, we see our soul perfection. We see the highest potential that the other person is sort of capable of being. And that doesn't mean that either one of us can actually function that way in the here and now. We have to heal, right? We have to go on this journey to heal, to get to that place. But the fact that we glimpsed that in another human being, and then we know that we are inspired to bring that out in ourselves, how cool is that? And the beautiful thing about it is that vibration, that unconditional love, we can begin to see that in everybody around us and bring that out of them and really appreciate them. So I love how both of those, ecstasy and living in the present moment, kind of go together. So in terms of writing an affirmation for today, I choose to focus on, there we go. I choose to focus on the present and experience as much pleasure or ecstasy as I can. I will bring, ecstasy is really a way of savoring that present moment. It's really a way of opening yourself up enough in the present moment to let go, right? So I allow myself to feel ecstasy today by experiencing gratitude in the present. If you have another idea for an affirmation, please share it in the comments. Okay, last one is just how the universe has your back. And this, I forgot to tell you, this Healing Cards is a daily practice for maintaining spiritual balance by Carolyn Miss. And now I'm going to pull from the Universe Has Your Back deck by Gabrielle Bernstein. And that one just kind of sits. Okay. So our last thought, there it is. So crazy. This is another one I've gotten before, but it just flipped right over. You just want to come up. My fearless freedom lights up the world. My fearless freedom lights up the world. Okay. Have a beautiful day. Thank you all. I am deeply grateful that you're here. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Or don't. It's okay. And make any comments that you feel like, if you have something you want me to address or research or share with you, questions, comments, struggles. Please remember that people who are struggling need to feel safe to express that. Be careful not to judge. We just allow. And if you're interested in my services, feel free to email me. I think that I'm going to set something up whereby when people comment, I take the names and maybe once a week draw out a free 30-minute session or something. I'm still trying to figure out how the best way is to do that, but I would like to work with you one-on-one and know who you are, and I think that would be a great way to do it. Just offer some sessions to people, especially those of you who are sort of spreading your light through the comments, because I think it's so helpful to others. So thank you for being here with me today. I hope you found some things helpful. Take care.